Hello and welcome to today's episode of Saving Sunderland, the Homegrown Heroes Save, where I attempt to turn Sunderland into a top six side using only British and Irish players. This is the end of season review, so you'll notice you don't have my lovely mug on the screen at the moment. I don't think there's any point turning it on for this sort of episode, as it's just going to be me reviewing the season, and it's just going to be a fairly short one, to be fair. So if we start with some personal accolades, two players that get a good mention here. Charlie Adam is in the Team of the Year. It's a very good achievement for Charlie. He was very consistent in my midfield throughout the season. So in terms of the league season, we've had a very pleasing season overall. So last season we got 46 points. This season's 55, so +9 on the year. So it's a really good improvement on the year. Home record fairly good, 35 points from 19 games, similar to last season really. Last season we were about the same position, so doing not too bad. Away record though is where we have really improved on year. 20 points from 19 games last season. It was 9 points from 19 games, so we've really improved the away form, which is really positive for us. If we can keep that going into next season, still keep the home form as it is and improve the away form, then I think we can finish higher at the table, if at all possible. So in terms of the season, we had a fairly solid start, unbeaten in the first 3 games, Jason Cummings scoring a lot of early goals. Then we had what proved to be a red herring of result. Away at Chelsea, we beat them 4-1. We tried a tactic where we parked the bus, went strikerless, and I thought, hang on a minute, this is really good. Went for it, changed the tactic. Didn't work against Tottenham, but we beat Newcastle. Draw against Huddersfield. Okay, we lost to Man United, that's expected. Then beat Hull and Watford and thought, okay, we're doing all right here now. Then it all went a bit wrong. We went 9 games without a win, 3 draws in that. That has really cost us this season. If we'd have done better in those games, we potentially might have got a European spot. We got to Christmas, poor run of form. I thought, I've got to change this. So I went back to the original tactic, which is the tactic we ended the season, which I'll show you in a moment. Won the next 3 games. Fantastic performance. Away against Tottenham, we lost, to be expected, they're a decent side. Then got a couple of draws where we probably should have got wins. Beat Huddersfield, should have beaten Man United, could have even beaten Watford, but decent run mid-season towards the end. The odd away defeat towards the end of the season, but generally speaking, the second half of the season was really quite strong compared to the first half of the season. So I'm really optimistic for next season. So the FA Cup was a little bit of a shambles for us. We beat Bournemouth 2-1 before losing away to Arsenal. A little bit disappointed as we didn't get much of a cup run. We hopefully would have got the 5th round. That was the expectation at the start, and we only got the 4th round. However, the FA Cup was significantly better than the League Cup. The League Cup ended with an extra time defeat to AFC Wimbledon. Second year running, we've been knocked out by Minnow. First it was Northampton Town. I really should be able to pronounce that as I lived there for 10 years, but they beat us on penalties. Then it was AFC Wimbledon. 2-1 defeat, shocking performance, shocking result. I hate the League Cup. Hopefully next year we can do better and get past the first round. So tactically, we've ended the season with 2 approaches. At home, we play a 4-2-3-1 formation. We've played this for the last couple of seasons. It works really quite well for us. We're always in games, we're always doing quite well. I love the target man shadow striker combination. Jermaine Defoe and Cummings up front are the 2 that usually rotate in that position, ably supported by the inside forwards. We play very narrow, so lots of play in that middle of the park, and it works really well for us. It doesn't work away from home, but an adapted version has been doing quite well towards the end of the season. So the target man has been removed and turned into a defensive midfielder. That gives us a bit more support in that middle of the field. So we've got lots of players in our half defending when we don't have the ball. When we do get the ball, we've got a front 3-ish who do quite well. Counter and flexible, it's working quite well for us. Have to see how it does next season. And now we move on to talk about our players. Jordan Pickford ever present in goal. Decent season for us. Now 24, starting to become and starting to hit the age where he's no longer a young player. He's more of a established player, good Premier League player. Year on year, we've seen quite a big improvement, though he had to concede one more goal in 9 more games. But average rating wise, done really well. Joe Wildsmith is my backup keeper. He was on the bench all season, played in the League Cup game against AFC Wimbledon. I'll look to hopefully get him some more game time next season. But with Pickford, he's going to have a challenge, but they're both two very good goalkeepers to have at the club, and they can be with us for a few years yet as well. So left backs, we had John Flanagan coming in from Liverpool in January. He was our regular from that point on, played 14 times. Luke Garbutt signed in the summer, did okay, probably more of a squad player than anything else. 17 games, 1 goal, he was all right. And Reece Wiggins, 10 games, no goals. Third choice probably. I might look to move Wiggins on in the summer. 1 year left on his deal, 30 years old. And I've got Alan Granger in reserve. I've also got Courtney House who can play there as well potentially, but he was at centre half all season. In terms of right backs, I've got 2 really good guys who rotated quite well. Billy Jones, who wasn't a regular the previous season, but has pretty much made the position his own second half of the season. Average rating of 7.26, really consistent. 23 games from him, and Donald Love ably supporting him as well with 15 games. Got Adam Matthews, who spent the first season out on loan. I'll look to move him on, I would imagine, this summer. He's not got anywhere near my first team squad, not even on the bench for the majority of the season. So centre half wise, it was mainly a story of 2 players. Courtney House and Ben Gibson were pretty much ever present throughout the season, both of them doing really well. Paddy McNair was an able deputy, 12 games when we were playing 3 at the back, did all right, probably no more than a squad player for us. And we've got Jolyon Lescott and John O'Shea, who will both be leaving the club at the end of the season. O'Shea will retire, Lescott is going to be released. Both of them have been very good Premier League players over the years, but their time has now come for them to step aside and move on. Defensive midfielder, I generally put Lee Cattermole in there. Didn't have that many games this season, only 12 starts, 8 sub appearances, which will probably disappoint him a little bit, but I couldn't really get him into the side for most of the season because we had 2 centre midfielders most weeks from the tactic wise until we went away from home in the second half of the season and brought the defensive midfielder in there. It was either him or Jack Rodwell, but Rodwell, I'd prefer him to play centre midfield. Moves us nicely on to the centre midfielders. Charlie Adam was absolutely sensational for me. 9 goals, 11 assists, average rating of 7.46, a absolutely superb season. He earned a new 1-year deal on the back of that on 15 grand a week less than he was on originally, so a win-win situation. Harry Arter, £15 million signing in the summer from Bournemouth, 28 games, 1 goal. Yeah, he was all right. Possibly wanted a little bit more from him than we got, but he did okay. Jack Rodwell also did all right. It was usually Charlie Adam plus either Arter or Rodwell in that centre midfield twosome, with Cattermole filling in when there was injuries. So I might look to get another midfielder in. Rodwell's only got a year left on his deal, so we'll see how it goes. Lyndon Gooch didn't play for the first team but went out on loan to Motherwell. Didn't do too greatly. I would imagine he won't be here next season. In terms of the other players, so Stephen Pienaar's going to retire at the end of the season. He only played a couple of times on the bench. Killian Kelly's been involved 3 times from the substitute bench later on in games. He's very much one for the future. And Mark Vincent made his debut in the back end of last season. Izzy Brown was our star man there. 33 games from the start, 4 sub appearances, 5 goals, 9 assists. I always felt he could do better for us, but look at the average rating, 7.02, first full season in the Premier League as a first team regular, first season at the club. That's not bad. I'll take it. As I say, it always felt like he could have done more, but he was fine. Probably the fact that I paid 14 million for him made me think he could do more, but Happy with what we got. Victor Anichebe was back up. Played 15 times off the bench, only started twice, didn't really do a huge amount. I'll keep him around for next season because he can play striker as well. Jay OG came in on loan from Liverpool, just had a bit of strength and depth to my side. 4 sub appearances, 1 goal. It was all his involvement. On the right hand side, Duncan Watmore was our go-to guy. 34 games, 9 goals, 7 assists, average rating of 7.21. Really pleasing season. I am wanting to get another right winger into the club and one that can potentially play in another position, but probably striker as well. The issue with Watmore is he can only play in that one position, which is great when he's playing well. It's when he's not, he just drops out the side. I can't really rotate him. I like the idea of switching around Brown and Watmore, or inside forward left, inside forward right, as and when required during a game. I can't really do that with Watmore at the moment. In terms of my strikers, my key man, Jason Cummins, what a superb player he was. First season in the Premier League, 18 goals from 36 games, 7.24 average rating. I just love this guy. He's my favourite player I've signed on Football Manager this season. Only on 13 grand a week as well, so a real steal for us. When I signed him from Hibernian, the fans weren't overly pleased, but I think they absolutely love him now. Only £1 million as well. Signing of the save comfortably at this point. Jermaine Defoe, he's 35 now, 6 goals from 22 games. He had a bad injury for 4 or 5 months of the season, which really start of the season he was in the team, missed a large chunk of the season. It came towards the end, so he did struggle to score goals. But 6 from 22 is all right for a 35-year-old. Probably going to be more of a squad player next season as I look to find a replacement. As I said before, key thing for me is getting that replacement in before Defoe leaves. Gary Hooper, he was a good squad player, 19 games, 3 goals, average rating of 7.03. He's an all right player. 1 year left on his deal, 30 years old. Wanted by Burnley. They've wanted him most of the season. In all honesty, if I got an offer for him, I wouldn't turn it down. He's good. He's all right, but he's not going to get into my first team squad on a regular basis. 7 goals in 50 games. At this level, it's okay. He's a good player for most championship sides. Can't really play in the Premier League, but he's an all right player, and I like him outside of the world of Football Manager as well. But as he did really well for Hereford in 2007-2008, got us promoted in that season on loan. Shame we couldn't afford him the next season and we got relegated, but that's another story. But he was good. I like him as a player. Simon Ford also made his debut last game of the season, scored in that one. Just spend a moment looking at who is in my reserve squad. Going to be letting a number of players go at the end of the season, so pretty much everyone is out of contract. So that's Ethan Robson up to Darren Gibson, are all going at the end of the season. Gibson is on 25 grand a week, had a season-long loan at Hull and played 8 times. Nowhere near good enough for my team at the moment, so he will depart. We look through some of our potential players. Our star potential guy is Dave French, who spent the season on loan at Crawley. Didn't have a great season, 1 goal in 22 games, but he's only 17. There's a lot of promise there, so we'll see how he goes over the next couple of seasons. Jason Malumbi is another interesting player. Got 1 year left on his deal. Had 2 loan spells last season without doing amazingly well. Had a couple of offers from him in the summer, last summer, for permanent deals, and he got a bit arsey. The fact that I didn't let him talk to other clubs, so see how it goes. I'm not convinced by him at the moment. He'll take part in pre-season, and we'll take it from there. I've still got a couple of drains on my resources in my reserves at the moment. Wahhabi Kazri has been on loan to Stade Rennais for the season. I'll try and sell him, as I always try and do, but if not, I'll loan him out for the season. Again, I've got nearly £3 million out of him so far, so worst case scenario, I'm just going to do that again next season. Maximilian Sturcek went on loan to Barnet Polish goalkeeper. I'll try again just try and get rid of him. Sam Brotherton, I can't get rid of. I've tried. He's a New Zealand international now. Yeah, really key international. But teams can't get a work permit for him, so I've been trying. A few non-league clubs have come in for him, but can't get him out the door. It's frustrating, but we move on. Just run through anything else that needs to be covered before the end of the season. Best 11. I think that's a pretty well respected best 11, to be fair. So who's come into it? Gibson, Brown, Arter and Jones have come in. Yeah, I'll be happy with that as a best 11. Joshua Marger is on the bench for my best 11. He's played 3 times. Off the bench. Okay. We'll see. Okay, fine. Player of the season, Charlie Adam, no surprise. Jermaine Defoe. No, he wasn't. He was poor. Well, he wasn't poor, he was not quite good enough. Billy Jones in third. Bit harsh on Jason Cummins there. He would be, for me, the second best player this season. But what do I know, eh? Finished 9th. Everyone thought we were going to get relegated, so we've done really, really well there. To forget was a 4-0 defeat to Liverpool. I'd already forgotten that, to be honest. 93% full. Ground. Potentially get the board to expand the stadium. That'd be quite nice. So there we go, guys. End of season number 2 and end of this episode. Hope you've liked what you've seen. If you have done, please leave a like. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. I'm the FM Novice. I'll speak to you again soon when we kick off the start of season number 3. Thank you very much and good night.